You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Hey everyone, Jim Chester here. I got Leslie Mitzel with me. She is a graduate from the Fountainhead, Palmer in Davenport, Iowa. This episode is brought to us today by Palmer Rugby. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the logo, maybe I picked the right shoulder. I did today. That's the logo for the Palmer Rugby Football Club. And you are coming in from Detroit area?
Grand Rapids, the west side of Michigan. I grew up in Detroit.
Okay. And I am in Grand Junction, which is the Grand Valley of the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives. There are 60,000 people here in the city, though, just to be clear. So, Leslie, we are going to talk. I'm really looking forward to this interview, by the way. Let's talk Detroit. What's going on up there?
I can't believe the changes in Detroit. Since I left for Iowa and then did my tours all over the place, then came back to Detroit. It is a new place. It is booming. I mean, I went down there for Christmas. I mean, there are lines out the door of places. I mean, that has just not happened, not in my lifetime, and probably not in many people's lifetimes, where they can see a huge change where people are flooding into Detroit and people are just walking around, waiting outside to get into a building for their own free will. It's incredible. I can't believe it. It's really exciting to see the change there. They have a new stadium for the Red Wings, and the basketball team moved down there. So it's moving and shaking. It's really exciting.
That's cool. And then you went down to Detroit South to Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah, that's true. I had no idea what I was getting into. That was a pretty good trick because everyone thinks you're moving to Iowa, which they think it's Idaho. They just don't care. They just think it's somewhere out in the country, and you're stupid for going. I'm like, well, it'll be nice. It's cornfields. You'll get a lot done. No, it's a mini Detroit. No one tells you that. I looked around, I'm like, wait a second. I just moved from here, and I got tricked. But I mean, I have the best memories from there. I'm waiting for the comeback in Davenport. That'll be next. If Detroit can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, you make me laugh so hard because I spent 30 years in Detroit South in Davenport, but it is a charming place, and it is the fountainhead of chiropractic. It's where it all started.
Absolutely.
September 18th, 1895, the Ryan Building. I think it happened on the corner of like 12th and like Main, and something like that, 10th and Main.
Yeah. They have a sign, so we'll find it when we're down there.
We'll find it, yeah. And let's talk about rugby at Palmer. I know that off camera we talked about one of the cool things we were going to discuss is memories of playing rugby at Palmer.
Oh, it is such a special bond that you get. I always told the girls, like, it's like we have a superhero cape on because not only you're a full-time student, you're playing rugby. And most of the girls, they don't have rugby experience, and most men too, but more so with the women. You don't get a lot of people who are like, yeah, I played for many years. No. It's all new to them. So first of all, you're throwing 30 credit hours at them. And then you say, come to practice. We're going to teach you this awesome sport, which is so complicated. No one understands it, even after you play for a few years.
I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You've been around it for a while. So it's a superhero thing. So not only you're a chiropractor, you're a female chiropractor, you're a female rugby player, and you're just getting stuff done. It's awesome. So the bonds that I created there are bar none my favorite. I mean, they're my best friends. Rugby players are just a different crowd. They're just a different, you know this really well, but we're just different people that we have a great connection with each other. So those bonds are so special to me. I would never give it up.
So we're going to transition now into an early close. We're going to talk to people because a lot of times people don't stick around for the full 20 minutes of a conversation.
Life happens,
we might as well get them early on in this conversation while we have good interaction. The symposium, let's talk symposium.
Yes. Yeah, it's at the Black Hawk. You were there last year. That's a big upgrade from, I believe, the Radisson, and now we're at the Black Hawk. It's beautiful, right on the river. Uh, like I was saying, the bond that we have, rugby players are different. We like a good time, good party. We like getting stuff done. So we have great speakers who will be there. We have that Friday, Saturday. We have two rugby games, and then we have this great banquet at the Black Hawk, one of the nicest places. I don't know, at 100-mile radius. Would you say?
Yes.
And we have a good time. We love mingling. Even if you're not a rugby player, people love hanging out with rugby players because
It's a fun time.
Yeah, we just have such a fun time. So not only can you get educated, get your credits, be in one of the nicest places in Davenport, but you get to just hang out with really cool cats. I think it's a no-brainer.
And let's hit the nail on the head with the idea that you can get your CEs and you get
Exactly.
your continuing education credits, and not just by anybody. All these people getting the CE credits are just phenomenal providers of information.
They really are. Yeah. We even have Helga. She's coming in from Iceland. So if she can make it from Iceland to Davenport, Iowa, South Detroit, it's everyone can do it.
Yeah, and we have Darren Weiss coming in from Barcelona. I think that's a pretty good distance too.
Right. It's international. People are flying in from everywhere.
And 1960 is when they started the rugby football club at Palmer, and that's why Dr. David started this whole rugby team, was so he could spread chiropractic around the world.
Yeah, isn't that something?
So here we are, 2018, talking about this, and it's happening. Like his
Still
vision
going
is
on.
happening. Like now we're calling people home to the Fountainhead from, where'd you say, Iceland?
Iceland.
From Iceland and Spain.
Right. It's quite the vision, and I love the commitment that people have for Palmer Rugby. The board has always been working tirelessly, day in and day out, with their phone calls, and they're so committed on their vision in getting a field, or they always just want to make it better, get more people out there, get it bigger, better, faster. I mean, that's why you're involved. Look at all the people you're interviewing and getting this word around the world.
And that's just it, is when you want to have the best program, you follow the right tracks. You see where the eyes are going. You do the right marketing. You promote the best way. And I think that's what Palmer has been doing ever since they've gotten this new leadership going. And, now we have these amazing opportunities with all these scholarships. I mean,
Yes.
it almost blows my mind that you can go to get a degree as a doctor and get scholarship money to go and get that degree and play rugby at the same time.
It's insane. It's such a benefit. I mean, being able to have that scholarship while you're getting your degree, you couldn't ask for anything else. I mean, and they really take care of you. I mean, your uniforms, you have a school van that you get to go to all the games, the hotels, and those were the best memories, are road trips. And like I said, you have a big credit load, so everyone's studying in the car. You always have your friends that are in your same tri, or even better yet, the upper tri, who's already been through it, who can give you some good pointers.
Yeah, it's good to, it's a good family. And that's what I found.
It is a family.
That's what I found with Palmer Rugby, as I've been around it for the past decade, is it's a huge family. And it's really an honor for me to have that logo floating over our shoulder to say that I'm a part of this.
Right.
And to talk about the where it's come from. I remember the early leadership calls with Dr. Matt when I would sit at his house in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, and I'd listen to people on speakerphone. I probably wasn't supposed to, but listening to these conversations on speakerphone while I was at home cooking us dinner, talking about what's going on with the future of Palmer Rugby.
Yeah, I mean, they're committed. You said 10 years? 10 years he's been doing this.
Yeah.
Still doing conference calls.
But it's really cool to see how the things have changed, and how you said, they used to do this at Palmer with or at different little hotels with Fred Schofield doing all 12 hours.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He still will get an hour now, but 12 hours, I believe.
But I know that that's something he was really looking forward to as well, as other people stepping up.
Right. Yes.
And I know that that's happening now, as more people are continuously stepping up.
That's exactly right.
And now the program is becoming even bigger, faster, stronger, like you just mentioned. Like having the right things in place help with the program growing.
Yes.
So next thing, I know that typically we talk all things Palmer, all things rugby, all things sponsorships, but let's talk about something that makes you the chiropractor. Let's talk technique a little bit. Give some people some ideas about what you do and how you got to this path of what how you practice.
Yeah, yep. And like I said, going back to our bonds, the upper tribe, they always taught you what they know and what they've learned. So that started way back when I was in school. Taryn, she would have adjusting nights, and she was into Gonstead, so you got to learn a little bit about that. And then someone mentioned TRT, so what's that? Take a few courses in that. And I had the phenomenal experience going out to Boston, being with Peter and Patty at Westwood Chiropractic. Learned just a boatload of techniques, and I'm with ICPA, so you get to learn the Logan technique, Thompson, you name it. Peter also knows every technique under the book. So just sitting and watching him day in and day out, SOT, and you ask him what he's doing, he tries to explain it, but he's a master of what he does. So I've been able to transfer that over to my practice, and they call it do it whatever it takes technique. So you get to pull a little here, pull a little there. I mean, not everyone does that. You can be upper cervical specific, or you have a specific technique that you stick to. But when you have a big toolbox, you really get to see some cool stuff happen.
Yeah, and that's what I found out a lot about Palmer is it makes very what's the terminology diversified. It makes a very diversified adjuster. And then when you go out into practice, you have a better toolbox, like you just said, to go out there and take care of the community that you see fit. And I think that's one of the greatest thing about being the doctor is the definition is teacher. And then you get to go out there and take care of your practice members with the education that you just went and got, which I think is amazing.
Yes. Yes.
So next thing we'll talk about a little bit is I know that you've been open how long now?
Oh, weeks, just a little over a month.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. And you've been out for 2 years.
That's correct.
Let's talk a little bit about that journey that took you to get where you are today.
Wow, talk about journey. Yeah, that's why my practice is called Journey Family Chiropractic, because life is a journey, and you just want to meet people where they're at and join them on their journey. School. Yeah, I needed my family, my rugby family, to help get me through that. So I couldn't do it without some key people who they all took turns. Once Taryn graduated, she passed the horn on to Rachel. Rachel had to pass it on to Casey. And they're not like, hey, we'll just help her out. No. They counseled me every day, every week to get me through school. So, talk about a bond that I'll never ever forget. And I cherish that. So that's part of the journey. Then I got to do my internship out in Massachusetts. I found a job out there for about a year. And then it's just always been my desire to open my own practice, be able to serve people how I see fit, and just change lives.
Yeah, that's it's really fun to hear everybody's story. My tagline, how I end up these interview conversations now are, "You're only one story away. Keep hustling."
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And I think that's really what it is with each chiropractor. You're only one story away,
right?
And if you listen to other people's stories, that's when you can provide care to them.
Right.
And I think that's that's one of the really unique things of chiropractic is chiropractors are very hands-on with communication.
Right.
You obviously get trained in the palpation and the x-ray analysis and all the stuff that you have to do to pass boards, but you also become a master communicator.
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge is communication. And every day you get better because every day you need it and you realize what you need to work on, your strengths, your weaknesses. It's like a rugby game. Every day you learn more and more. And rugby taught me so much. So I have to thank Palmer for that as well. And it just can transfer over into daily practice all the time.
It was really interesting you say that. One of my buddies, he wants to start doing a show like this and doing live interviews with people. He told me, how long does it take until you get good?
Yeah. Yeah. What was your answer?
I told him 300.
Hmm.
After you do 300 of these, you'll be good. And,
Yeah.
and then you can consider yourself having your own voice. And at that point, you have a following because you've built your reputation. And it's
Hmm.
like anything, when you start your practice, you start building your voice. And then
Yes.
people start referring to you. Like,
Hmm.
honestly, I don't have to go looking for interviews anymore. They
Yeah.
come to me now.
That's
But
great.
yeah, but him and his positioning, he's still trying to decide, how do I get people to even trust me to talk to me?
Yeah, I understand. That's where I'm at with my practice. So
But you saw what happens with Peter and Patty's clinic,
absolutely. Absolutely.
where it
It's
just becomes
magical.
where you create magic. But magic happens through consistency.
You got it. Time and repetition. Practice, practice, practice.
And that's why Palmer Rugby is where it's at today.
Absolutely. I mean, you just don't get taught the game and you get this wonderful career, which is life changing to many people. But you get a life experience. You get to learn how to connect with people, how to communicate, how to work hard, how to get your time management under control, and you get a family out of it. I mean, there's so many things that you don't see on paper that you get out of it that you can't even put a value to it.
Well, I know you are one now, but let's talk a little bit about the support of the alumni and what it
Yes.
means to the program.
Absolutely. So again, starting a practice, having support, it's the biggest thing. We talked about that with someone who works with you. You're only as good as the people who are behind you, who support you. So having
Mhm.
that depth of alumni, of people who have started a practice, people who've been there, and you just have this family that we talk about. And that's why we get so excited for these symposiums and homecoming, because we get to see each other. And it's so hard to concentrate to, yeah, let's sit down and get the business done, because the support you have and wanting to catch up and people wanting you to succeed is it's just incredible.
Well, let's talk next about this whole idea that you coached
Yes.
and what that was like to be a part of that extra layer of family.
Yeah, that was a fun opportunity. Talk about learning as you go along. So I joined Palmer Rugby the second trimester. I was a captain, then a president, and then I turned into a coach. So I got to hold every role I could during that time. And coaching was just a different animal. So not only are you in school while you're trying to get stuff done, now you're in charge of coaching, which there was more pressure coaching than I had when I was playing, because it's not when you're a team, you're playing on the field, you screw up, you're like, oh, I did this wrong. Yes, you let your team down. But if I coaching, you feel like you let down so many people. If did I not teach them right? Did I not do that correctly? Did we not go over that? Was it my communication? So that was a fun journey. I really enjoyed that. I love the bond that I have. I'm still connected with the team. I mean, I opened and I got a thing of flowers from my rooftop crew, because it's just the bond we have, and they had a lot of respect for me, and I have a lot of respect for them. So that definitely was a special time in my life, which I was honored that I was able to do that.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really resonates with me is that you guys have such like this family that gets a chance to help each other, whether it's opening doors for the first time or whether it's you taking that leadership role to do this, to do this, to do this, and
Hmm.
now you're in that position that three of the things that Palmer Rugby is known for is giving back through their time, their talents, and their treasure.
Yes, that is true.
And I think that that is like very symbolic of what you've been able to accomplish throughout this journey. And I
Hmm.
know right now it might not be the most treasure, but you're
Yes.
definitely providing the talent and the
Hmm.
time.
Yes.
I think that those are two things that we all have to be able to provide to each other in order to get to the next place.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like the three-legged stool in chiropractic, philosophy, art, and science, and same thing with rugby. If you don't have either the time or the commitment or finances, if you don't have one of those, the stool will still fall. So you need all three, and it just depends where you're at in your life. If you could give all three, or you need someone who can give more to one leg so you can support the other leg. So we all stand and rise up.
Well, we're coming to the edge of our conversation today. I wanted to just go back and say that the Rugby Alumni Symposium isn't just for rugby players.
No.
It's for everybody. And there are a couple programs that you guys use that give back to Palmer. One of them is Local Gold. They set up websites that get you front page placement on Google searches in your community. And I think that that's a really good offer. And they give kickback for using their services back to Palmer, which is another way to use an angle of giving treasure back inadvertently. And then Prosolvent is the credit card processor that you guys use that gives a kickback to the program as well. I know in the Legacy Builder program Facebook page, I'll see pictures of checks every once in a while. And those are actually kickback checks from those two programs that go towards the scholarships of helping grow the program. So I just wanted to just, close up with talking about Prosolvent and Local Gold and Palmer Rugby. The symposium is April 13th, 14th, back at the Fountainhead. There's going to be some dynamic speakers all the way from Fred Schofield to Roberto Monaco, Deed Harrison, Brad Glowacki. I'm probably leaving out a couple, but we're going to be blessed with 2 rugby games. We get a chance to see dynamic speakers teaching all aspects from extremities to heart rate variability to concussions. So I think that the content that's going to be the deliverable is going to be high level. You're going to be able to see, rugby from the years. I mean, there's going to be guys there that, the next guy I interview has been out of school for 37 years.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a 2-year grad to a 37-year grad and the amount of history in between that. So with these interviews, what we get to do, Leslie, is we get to shrink time and space.
Isn't that nice?
And we get to promote something that we both love, and that's chiropractic, and that's the Fountainhead at Palmer. And but before closing out, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to talk to our audience about?
I don't think so. I think bottom line, you don't have to be a rugby player to come see what this is all about. We're in Davenport, Iowa, those dates, April 13th, 14th. Come check it out. You won't be sad. You'll be happy you got into this group, and you'll be part of the family.
And what I'll do is I'll post the links for if you guys have any type of student athletes that might be interested in playing rugby at Palmer. I'll post that into the links. And if you guys need any information on this weekend, I'll also post the link into the comments on that as well. Before we jump off, I'm just going to say thank you to the people that were on the live feed with us today. I always like saying thank you for people that commented. We have Kelly Lally. She says, Leslie representing, keep it up, sister. Can't wait to see you at the symposium. Michael Tokash, who is with 2020 Imaging and Imaging Services. He says, you did it. So that must mean that you got his X-ray unit.
Yep, we're getting there. Yes.
And he's also a very proud sponsor with Imaging Services of the Chiro Hustle podcast. So thank you, Michael, for supporting what we do. Barbara Eaton is another one. She's with the 56-day chiropractic boot camp, which helps double practices in 90 days. And she says, hey, you two, happy Thursday. Yeah. Tim McFadden, I love the respect there. Tim is also a Palmer grad. He is upper cervical specific out in Yakima, Washington. Big family member of mine. We're actually going to be at Berkshire's together.
Oh, that's great.
In a week or so. And then we have Nima Ramani, who is just like a global legend now. He's helping chiropractors with their edge of certainty, getting them back in tune with themselves to where they can be higher level producers. Well, cool. I love the conversation with you today.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. I really want to thank you and what you do for the profession. You're really moving it along. I love seeing what you do. You're just everywhere doing everything, and you think out of the box and you get things done. So that's awesome. Thank you for supporting us and all the hard work you do.
Well, it's a real fun place for me to be because like I said off camera, I get a chance to write the playbook. Exactly. I get a chance to be the offensive coordinator, the defense coordinator, and the head coach, and start something. Hopefully, people say, "I want to do what that guy's doing."
Right? Yeah.
And when
we need more people like you.
When we get more people saying, "I want to support this message of chiropractic," then they're going to say, "Wow, that guy was onto something." Mm-hmm. So Thank
Yeah.
you for the support as well. And I'll see you back in at the Fountainhead, April 13th, 14th, back in Davenport,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Detroit South.
Yeah, I like that. I'll use that from now on. Going
All
to the
right.
Detroit South.
Have a rocking rest of your day. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.